Hi, I'm Susan Guthrie, America's Divorce Innovation Specialist, and welcome to today's version of the frequently asked questions of divorce. I have been doing a series where I answer some of the most Googled questions in divorce, and today's question is, how much does it cost to get divorced? And that is certainly a common question that we hear, something that comes to mind for anyone who's facing divorce, because I think that notoriously, divorce is a very expensive process. And unfortunately, much of what I'll say today is only going to confirm that. But I do have some points of hope. There are some things that you can do to keep the cost down. And those are some of the things that I want to go over today. So first off, I've heard varying statistics on the cost of divorce, but when you factor in attorney's fees and court costs and expert fees for your average litigated divorce, the most recent statistic I heard was about $27,000 per person for the divorce. Now, that's where both parties go out, retain counsel, are represented throughout the case, have moderate complexity that they need experts for, and then in every case there are filing fees. So that certainly adds up and is a startling number. There are certainly cases where it's much less than that. And I have been involved in cases that are far greater than that. In fact, some of you have heard me mention that I was recently talking with a new client on a post-dissolution matter, and she mentioned that her 4-year divorce journey cost her $1 million in counsel fees. And that was just for her side of the divorce. So there's always a spectrum. But the thing to remember is that if you go the litigation route where you hire an attorney to represent you, then you are going to be paying for your services, your attorney services in almost all cases by the hour. So what attorneys do, family law attorneys, is they set an hourly rate. That's going to vary based upon where you live. I have seen them as low as $200, $250 an hour in certain areas. More areas that have higher net worth or a higher economic demographic, I have seen $450, $500, all the way up to some places have attorneys at $1,000 to $1,200 per hour. This will also vary based upon the expertise of your attorney, the complexity of the matter that you're putting in front of the attorney, the amount of time if you have a very time-consuming matter, or if it's an emergency matter, sometimes the attorney will charge more. But the thing with a litigated case that you always have to remember, and I think many clients don't completely understand this, is every time your attorney has their mind on your case in general, that you are getting charged the hourly rate for that. Most attorneys charge in a 6-minute to 10-minute increments. So if it's a 6-minute increments and they spend 3 minutes on your case, you're going to get charged for 6 minutes. If it's a 10-minute increment and they spend 6 minutes on your case, they're going to charge you in a 10-minute increment. And that includes things like emails, going through phone messages, reading the emails that you send them when you CC them on every email you send back and forth between you and your soon-to-be ex. That all adds up very quickly. The other thing to remember is that so I always use the telephone tag example. So you have an issue you want to raise with your soon-to-be ex. So you call your attorney and you get charged for that call. Then your attorney calls your soon-to-be ex's attorney and you get charged for that call. Your soon-to-be ex calls his attorney or her attorney calls them. They get charged for that call. Then their attorney calls your attorney to respond. You get charged for that call, and they get charged for that call. And then your attorney gets back to you, email, telephone call, whatever it is. But you can see you got charged in that chain, you to your attorney to the other attorney, the other attorney back to your attorney, and your attorney back to you. 4 times you got charged for that exchange. And that doesn't include if there was anything that your attorney needed to do research on or needed to draft in between or do anything in between those calls. I'm just talking about the actual contact. So in a litigated case, the fees roll up very, very quickly. Now, there are ways to avoid that. One of the things would be to avoid litigation altogether. Litigation is not necessary in most divorces. In fact, 95% of cases come to a settlement in some fashion. Now, if you're doing it through attorneys, you're still getting charged for the back and forth of negotiation. So although that can bring down the fees because you're not going to court and spending money, you are still spending your attorney's hourly rate on all the back and forth and all the discovery and all of the other phases of the divorce process, which I do explain in another one of my videos that talks about the stages of the divorce. So you can find out more in that one. But overall, if you are being represented by counsel to do everything for you, to do the negotiating or whatever it is, that's going to still be one of the more expensive ways to get divorced. Now, there are other methods. One of the most common and popular is mediation. As you know, I am the co-chair of the American Bar Association Mediation Committee. I solely now only handle divorces through mediation. For many reasons, I think it's a far superior way for most people to get divorced. But one of its main benefits, or one of its big benefits, is that it's much more cost effective than divorce through attorneys is. Now, some of the, things that keep the cost down is one of them is that although you may have consulting attorneys, they are not doing all the back and forth for you. They are not doing all the front work. You and your spouse are meeting with your mediator. If it's like me, you're going to meet in a virtual conference room. If you're working locally, you'll go to your mediator's office usually and work with them there. But you're working directly to do the negotiations with the support of your mediator. So the two of you are paying one mediator, as well as if you have outside counsel, and many people do, to get specific legal advice. I advise that, but it's on an as-needed basis. They are not doing the back and forth for you. They are doing the support for you. The mediation process, because it's direct, because you're not playing telephone tag through your attorney, which just drags the process out, and you're speaking directly to your spouse with the help of your mediator, decisions are made in real time. It moves much more quickly, much less time is needed. Many people can get through their divorce in 3 or 4 2-hour sessions in mediation. So you can see the costs are just much less in mediation. Now, another thing is many people are attempting do-it-yourself divorce. And these days, there are some wonderful resources for people that want to handle their divorce on their own. There's a service such as our friends at Hello Divorce, which right now is for California residents, but they are going to be branching out across the country. And on their website, hellodivorce.com, you can, if you're a California resident, you can go there and do all of the forms for your divorce. They will help you file them. They are very cost effective, but they have resources that are available for everyone. And I mean a lot of resources. So that's another wonderful place to go, because the last tip I would like to give you all is, in order to keep your costs down, educate yourself, because no matter which of those methods of handling your divorce you choose, all of them are going to go faster. And if they go faster and smoother, it's going to be less expensive if you educate yourself. And by that, I mean, find out what the issues are that are applicable to your divorce. If you have minor children, there's going to be a parenting plan. There's going to be child support. If you have disparate incomes or one of you is not working, there may be an issue of alimony or spousal support. There's always a property division issue. There's always a debt division issue if that's there. Find out what the laws are in your area. Do some research online. There are a number of resources, visit my website, divorceinaBetterWay.com. I have curated a number of resources, including books and programs and experts. I have all of these videos on my YouTube channel. Check them out. If you have a specific question you'd like me to cover in a YouTube video, send it in to me at susan@divorceinaBetterWay.com, and I'll add it to my frequently asked questions videos. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Divorce is an expensive proposition, but it is manageable and you can reduce the costs. Be very thoughtful in how you approach it, and hopefully you will be able to get through it with minimal cost, minimal stress, and hopefully in a better way. So I'll see you soon. Thank you for joining me.